Welcome back to Motive for Money. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. In today's video, we've got a mix of fascinating and insightful clips that dive into different living experiences and the challenges they bring. First, you'll meet a man who lives entirely off the grid, sharing his unique lifestyle and the freedom and challenges that come with it. Then, a woman expresses her frustration with unforeseen moving costs, offering a real look at the financial surprises that can come with relocation. Finally, another woman highlights the hidden costs of buying a tiny home that dealers might not mention, giving you a heads up on what to expect if you're considering downsizing. Let's get started.
So you think my tiny house is a shoebox that cost $80,000? Well, it's actually nowhere near $80,000. I actually spent only $22,800 for it, and that was even on discount. The tiny house was originally only $17,500. And it's definitely not a shoebox. I haven't done an update for a while, so let me show you around. The tiny house is 20 foot long and 14 foot high, and also about 9 foot wide. Yes, it's on wheels, but I covered it with the skirting so that way I don't have a draft during the winter and it be really, really cold. The tiny house also has cedar wood outside plus a metal half part. It's just a design I like. Coming from Colorado, it's very common to make it look kind of like this, like a cabin. And also coming on the outside, this is my rainwater collection system that I built prior to having the tiny house. This is where I get all my water coming from the sky. Then coming on the inside, I think this thing is pretty spacious, if I do say myself. I pretty much have everything that a regular house has, including a PC setup, an entire kitchen with beautiful butcher block countertop, microwave and a microwave oven, as well as a fridge. And then yes, this is where I shower. I have a cedar wood shower as well. Then right across from it is my 2-in-1 washer and dryer. Then right from that is my 2 Delta Pros that run this entire tiny house. It is 7.5 kilowatt hours from EcoFlow. Then speaking about solar, I have about 2,060 watts of solar running the entire tiny house. And it's more than enough to run absolutely everything. And that includes 240 volt appliances. And then also, because I'm off grid, I use a composting toilet. And if you don't know what a composting toilet is, I would do your research, but pretty much it's a toilet that you don't need any type of plumbing or anything. This is my composting area in which all of my waste gets composted in there, and then for later use we'll use on flowers and other things. And then before we go up into the loft area where my bed is, I wanted to show you guys my stairs. I have designed it to where it is literally all of my clothes in every single drawer to save space. And then moving up the loft, I have a 100-inch screen projector so that way I can watch movies. And this is pretty much where I lay my head to rest at night. It can fit a queen size mattress. I have an air conditioner, and I also have this EcoFlow air conditioner in the back. Also made this DIY couch right here that completely folds up if need be. And then for the design itself, I made all of these open cabinetry pretty much by iron piping.
Hi friends, so I am back with another financial update with regards to living in a tiny house. And the reason why I share these videos is not to complain about the money or anything like that, but to be a resource, because at the end of the day, when my wife and I were doing research for living in a tiny house, these are not the videos that we saw. We only saw like how cute it is to live in a tiny house and, you know, how to move a tiny house, but we didn't really hear anybody talking about like the financial side of like what it's like to live in a tiny house. So if you're new here, my wife and I just moved our tiny house from Oregon to Texas. When we got here, we had to have an inspector come in the house for 5 minutes, paid him $100 in cash for him to say that our windows in the bedroom do not meet the regulation of like this county or whatever. Essentially, they need to be extended by a couple inches so that we can jump out of them if we need to. We did not think that we were going to have to make any physical changes to the tiny house within 30 days of being here, so that's annoying. But you want to know how much they quoted us? For one window, which is irrelevant because we need to get 2 of them done. But for one window, it's $3,900, and for 2, it's $6,400. So they gave us a little discount, right? But again, we just moved here like 29 days ago and dropped over $9,000 to be here. So to turn around less than a month later and find out that we need to spend another $6,400 is just, where is it coming from? But yeah, just wanted to share that with you all because it's really, really, really important that you know exactly how your house is being built, and that is being built to specific standards, and that it is certified. If your house is certified, you probably will not go through any of this bullshit. And so if there's one thing I can stress, make sure that your tiny house is certified. And that's it. Wish me luck. Wish me and my wife luck. You know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We chose this lifestyle. And the light at the end of the tunnel is the fact that this will be a more sustainable and more affordable lifestyle for us. Because even with all this bullshit of us moving and having to pay all this money up front, we still will be spending way less money than the average person who is renting, or the average person who has like a large house with like a mortgage. So, you know, once everything is set up, we will be okay. But it's just setting it up that takes a lot of money, and it's fucking stressful.
The man proudly shows off his tiny house, which cost him a total of $22,000. This off-grid home is equipped with solar power, a composting toilet, and a rainwater system. Inside, he has creatively utilized space by building stairs that double as drawers, and even designed a couch that folds up. His ingenuity and resourcefulness truly shine in this compact, self-sustaining living space. On the other hand, a woman shares her frustration with unforeseen costs after moving her tiny home from Oregon to Texas. Upon arrival, she had to spend $6,400 to upgrade the windows to meet local regulations, which required them to be extended for emergency exits. This was on top of the $9,000 she had already spent moving the tiny home. Despite these unexpected expenses, she emphasizes the importance of purchasing or building a certified tiny home to avoid such additional costs. She remains optimistic, noting that in the long run, she will still spend less than those who rent or own larger homes with mortgages. Her experience underscores the potential hidden costs of tiny home living and the importance of careful planning.
The top 5 costs of buying a tiny home that dealers won't tell you. Number 1 is delivery and install. You have to use adequate freight haulers that can handle the load of these tiny homes. You will also have to get your tiny home installed by means of blocking and leveling it, then anchoring it down. This is not something you want to DIY on to save money. Number 2 is pad site. Your house will need a firm and solid foundation to be placed on, whether it's concrete, rock, or a dirt pad. If this is not done properly up front, it will cost you big down the line and well worth the initial investment. Number 3 is skirting. If you want your house to look complete, you will want to have skirting installed. Manufactured houses are not made with skirting attached to them, and this is actually quite a broad misconception that should be planned for up front. Number 4 is steps. Like the skirting, these houses do not come with steps built on them. I would never recommend dealer steps, but custom built on steps that would be specifically for the house and the height once it's blocked. And number 5 are the utility hookups. Unless you're savvy with electrical and plumbing, you'll need a professional or two to come out and do the final touches to get it in full operation. And that will largely depend on the lot you are placing it on as to know what to budget for this expense. So there's your most forgotten cost. Of those 5 things, what would you DIY to save some of the budget? And would you apply that to...
A woman sheds light on 5 hidden costs of buying a tiny home that dealers often overlook. Delivery and installation. The cost of transporting your tiny home to your desired location and having it properly set up can be significant. Foundation. Depending on where you place your tiny home, you may need to invest in a foundation, which can be an unexpected expense. Skirting. To insulate and protect the base of your tiny home, skirting is often necessary, adding to your overall cost. Steps. Building steps to access your tiny home is another cost that isn't always mentioned up front. Utility hookups. Connecting to water, electricity, and sewage systems can involve additional costs and logistics. These overlooked expenses can add up quickly, highlighting the importance of thorough research and budgeting when planning to purchase a tiny home. Thank you for watching. We hope these insights into tiny home living have been helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts and experiences with tiny home living in the comments below.